Hi, I'm Leah.
And I'm Gretchen.
And this is our Rewatch series.
So, what is a rewatch series?
A rewatch series is when you take a movie that you've seen before, you talk about it, and then rewatch it to then get new perspective on the movie.
That's perfect. That's a perfect definition. It definitely does not have to be something we've seen in our childhood. Mm-hmm. Our rule for this series is essentially one of us have to have seen it previously
or to think they have seen it previously.
Yeah. Another rule is that it has to have been released, commercially released on Blu-ray, DVD, VHS within the past year.
Yes. We are going to start with Disney movies!
Yay! There are hundreds, and there are plenty that have affected so many people throughout their livelihoods, and so that's why we decided to start with that.
Yeah.
It's easy peasy, but also a lot of movies to watch.
We did not realize what we were getting ourselves into.
Yeah. Okay, so what movie are we going to start with?
We will be starting with the Academy Award review of Walt Disney cartoons. So not exactly a full-length movie. This will be a collection of episodes done by Walt Disney before his release of Snow White, which was his first full-length Disney
animation
film.
Yeah.
And it played a very important role in his career, right?
It was a great marketing move on Disney's behalf. Essentially, the Academy Awards review that film. It's an anthology of 5 Oscar-winning silly symphonies. So that's what these shorts were called. They were called silly symphonies. They have the face of the cartoon character, like Mickey or Minnie or Donald. Is that technically a silly symphony?
I thought it was Donald. Well, when I think of the silly symphonies, I think of the border with the musical note.
Okay, you may be right.
But, you know.
They are
It's been a while.
Yeah. Okay, we'll figure that out later. We'll learn that later.
Learning. Fun.
So each of these silly symphonies were released on their own before they were collectively put together. They were all Oscar-winning, so these silly symphonies won Oscars. That's kind of mind-blowing. The 5 shorts are called
Flowers and Trees, The 3 Little Pigs,
Tortoise and the Hare,
Orphan Kittens,
and The Country Cousins. The one that we know, that we recognize, is The 3 Little Pigs.
And I also recognize The Tortoise and the Hare, because that's a classic. And The Flowers and Trees, which is a little bit more obscure nowadays. You don't see it, but I'm sure people have YouTubed it.
The Tortoise and the Hare, I have a feeling that I may or may not have seen it. It could be like a different studio because I remember in my childhood I have seen A Tortoise and the Hare, old-fashioned animation.
Yeah, and
I don't know if it was Disney
that was
or
such a common fable to replicate in cartoons in the early days. So when I first watched, I remember I saw it as a child, but I saw it was a re-release, I think, of different Disney episodes, and the 3 Little Pigs and the Tortoise and the Hare were in there, along with, like, I think Mickey's Symphony, and you remember those ones.
Yeah.
And then remember the tuba one.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
I think I'm on the same boat. We had like those little sing-along videos.
Oh yeah, those were the silly symphony sing-alongs.
Yeah.
Those were good, but those were different. But
those are different, but that's essentially where I
saw the Flowers and the Tree one, was with those ones, the sing-along. I think.
Yeah, I don't remember what I've seen with the sing-along ones. They didn't stick with me very well. But I do remember the 3 Little Pigs because I thought that the wolf looked pretty cool. And
the wolf did look really cool.
And like the pigs, they were kind of cute. They were fat.
But jolly. They were jolly.
They were adorable.
They had little rosy cheeks. I liked that in what I remember, but also the last time I watched this was only like a few months ago. Yep. I watch Disney movies on the rig. They have a lot of German influences inside the 3 Little Pigs. They do the accent and stuff sometimes.
Oh. Yeah, I don't remember that much. I just remember seeing...
Yeah, I think so. I'm remembering the second 3 Little Pigs story, because there was a second one. Did you know about that?
They
actually get caught. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen any of those. I think I was probably still in Guam.
Oh, okay.
So... 8 years old, younger.
Yep. I was 28, 1 year younger.
Obviously, the Three Little Pigs is the one that you remember the most out of the 5.
I remember the tortoise and the hare pretty well because when you watch Three Little Pigs, the tortoise and the hare comes up right after.
Really? I didn't know that. That goes to show you how that tortoise,
That's why I watched it. Because I was like, hey.
Okay, so
memories.
maybe I have seen it, but I don't remember. The one that I remember, I don't think it was Disney.
Oh, okay. That's probably, yeah.
Again, these silly symphonies were released separately, and then just before Snow White was released, it was put together
as a set for...
I guess it says that this anthology was released in 1937. So I'm guessing that just to prep the audience with what a feature film, animated film would be like, I guess Disney decided to clump them all together.
And make it a full movie time, but with different episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially how movies were made back in like the early cinematic times. They were just short films that were back to back together. Yeah. Well, anyways, we'll go ahead and watch them again and see how we feel about it.
Yeah. Get back to you.
Yeah. See how well
we'll see if we can even find the orphan kittens or the country cousins. I'm kind of worried we won't be able to find them because I'm not sure if I've seen them or not.
Well, I'm pretty sure we could find it in the library. We'll also check to see if these short films aged well.
Yes. And if there are anything in there that's probably a no-no now. Yeah. Are they still PC? That's the question everyone wants to know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Get back to you that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll get back to you.
Bye.
Oh my gosh. Some creepy old tree stump is trying to take the beautiful tree. Oh my gosh. It's like hissing. There's like a snake coming out of its mouth. And then a gallant young tree is trying to fight him. A lot of fighting going on. This is very, I guess, slapstick humor. Oh, the lilies are... That sounds so dumb. This fire's eating everything. Run, birds, fly!
So I'm currently watching The Tortoise and the Hare, and it just so happens to be the same one that I watched as a child that I thought was not a Disney animation. Even now, if it wasn't for the introduction with Mickey's face and it saying that it was a Walt Disney production, I wouldn't think that it was a Disney film based on what I'm used to knowing a Disney film to look. Also, my takeaway from The Tortoise and the hare is obviously a dick. The tortoise, good for him. My kind of feel-good movie.
They threw a sack of baby kittens out into the snow. Oh. It's so sad. The black cat seems to be the leader of the gray and orange cat. It's just kind of cute and adorable. Like, totally how kittens like to play and just get into trouble and do stuff. I think anyone who has had a kitten would like this in some way. What? No way. Oh god. There was some creepy doll. And it was like a little white girl, and then they pushed it over, and then like it reversed and turned into like a little black girl, but it was like super crazy. I don't know about that. Come on. That was messed up. Yeah, this is basically just kitten antics going on.
All right.
And we're back. We just finished watching the Academy Awards review of Walt Disney cartoons, and earlier we were struggling with what a silly symphony was. Having watched it already, do you have an idea of what a silly symphony is?
But I thought it was just like the company or like the studio name.
No. So, silly symphonies were basically a bunch of short cartoons. Walt Disney had the Mickey cartoons, and silly symphonies are separate from that. For 10 years, Walt Disney was experimenting with different ways of showing animation to the audiences.
And these were the winners.
The shorts featured on the Academy Award list, the ones that we watch, they were award-winning for a reason. In early animation, not very many people made animation by hand. It was like scratches on film, stick figures, but Walt Disney made it a point to do hand-drawn.
He wanted to bring more reality to the
animation. The reason why I believe The Flowers and Trees is the first on the list was because it is the first animation to use Tricolor, Technicolor.
Yes. And that means that it won purely because of its technical marvels and not because of the storyline.
Yeah, which is common in most silly symphonies. Walt Disney said himself, silly symphonies are not meant to have real stories like a beginning, middle, and end. They're just there to entertain and also for him to like come up with some ideas for future movies. I did see some ideas for future characters. Like,
which one specifically did you see?
Orphan Kittens had Figaro.
Oh yes, I saw Figaro.
Yeah, it had Figaro, and Figaro was the lead cat.
A little bit different personality,
a little bit different.
But yeah.
He was there. Country Cousins.
That was the mouse from Dumbo, right?
Yeah. So that's Disney recycling for you.
Disney is great at recycling.
Yeah. Anyways, so how did you feel about Flowers and Trees?
Boring, but I thought it reminded me a lot of Betty Boop. Very much like the tree has a romantic interest, and then this grumpy tree comes in and tries to steal pretty tree away, and then
reminds me a lot of like Popeye too. Kind
of,
not
bit.
Really.
I feel like Popeye had more personality, but I also am a huge Popeye fan, so I might be
You're
biased.
a little biased. Like, it doesn't own up to
Doesn't
Popeye.
matter. Popeye's the best.
Okay. What about the Three Little Pigs? That's the one that we remembered the most.
That's the one we remember the most. It's exactly the same as what I watched it last, which wasn't very long ago. Yeah. And I thought it was fun, and I liked that it wasn't super offensive.
Yeah,
I was worried that there would be something in there I missed, but it's pretty good.
And I also learned that the music from the Three Little Pigs, that infamous song, was the top
number one,
the top single for the time
of 1933,
top charter for a very long time that year. Can you imagine turning on the radio and hearing "Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Big bad wolf." No.
My favorite song.
It's a good thing that we don't live in those times anymore.
Right.
Thank you for progression.
This was before, I think, full-on jazz became popular.
It's full-on anything good.
Full-on anything good.
Popular, really. So, Tortoise and the Hare.
Tortoise and the Hare, again, exactly how I remembered it. I like the hare. He's funny. And then the tortoise is silly. And yeah.
Earlier, I was on the fence of whether or not I watched it. And it so happens it is. It is the one I thought was not a Disney movie. And I think I know the reason why I didn't think it was a Disney film is because it's a silly symphony.
So they're a little bit different styles.
Yeah, they're different from the Mickey cartoons. When I think of Disney cartoons, I think of, cow.
Oh, yeah.
The
Mary Bell.
Yeah, Mary Bell, all the barnyard
Donald
folks.
Duck.
And, the gloves.
Oh, yeah, lots of gloves.
Yeah, Tortoise and the Hare, they did not have gloves, so.
Doesn't the tortoise have gloves? I don't know, maybe.
Do we have to watch it again to see if he had
sure.
gloves? No, he did not have gloves. Tortoise don't have fingers.
Do you think that stopped Disney anytime he wanted to give?
But that's the reason why I didn't think of it as a Disney
You know what?
film.
I'm thinking of the sequel to that. The hare has gloves. Because
maybe in the sequel the hare did have gloves,
Yes.
but in this first one he did not.
Okay. Yes. I wasn't paying attention to their hands that closely. Then the Orphan Kittens was the most surprising to me. That's the only one I had never seen before, and it was horrible in like the sense that there was a lot of. Orphan Kittens was really just a little upsetting. There was a doll that like the flip-flopped, and it was
very racist.
Very racist.
It wasn't just the doll, like the perception.
Also the perception of
the help.
The help, which at first I thought she was the owner of the house, and then the little white girl comes in,
The savior.
The savior.
The little white girl saves the kitties.
Her from the black maid, essentially. Or like the kittens from the black maid who was going to throw them out into the snow. The little girl was the scary one. She's the one with all the creepy toys. And she dressed up all the kittens and made them upset at the end.
The perception of the maid as well, like, they made her seem like she didn't have a brain. Like, she's creating a mess everywhere. It was just a mess.
Yeah, they did not portray her in a kind or even like a humane light. It was very weird.
Yeah, I had to power through that really well.
I think my brain was just like trying to erase it while I was watching it. I was like, this is wrong.
I was like I was holding my face the entire time. I'm like,
yeah, I was just like, my shoulders were like earrings. I was like, what's happening? This isn't the Disney I remember. Give me back the 3 little pigs.
Right? Oh my goodness.
And the dancing trees.
Then the Country Cousins.
Country Cousins, classic folk tale about a country mouse and a city mouse and the differences between them. And it was okay. It was a little bit like a lot of alcohol consumption in that one. I think the country mouse gets drunk and almost dies a couple times, right? He was like taking a bath in the champagne glass, and then his city cousin had to save him.
My takeaway from that, it was pretty good animation wise. I thought it was pretty cool when the mouse stepped out into the city and then all of those feats and lights, all of that. But overall, I just didn't think the city mouse was a great host. He just he invited him over. It's like,
and then
city life is great. I'm gonna send you a mousegram. Like, come visit me. And then the entire time he was there, he's like, shh.
Right. He wasn't a great host.
He was not.
He was not.
He was just setting up the country mouse for failure the entire time.
True.
That's all I thought. Did you predict correctly with any of these?
All of them except for the orphan kittens.
Yeah.
That was the only one I wasn't sure if I had seen before, and yeah, it was weird. That one was weird, and I'm glad I hadn't seen that before. I don't want to see it again.
It's funny that the 3 Little Pigs is the only one that I remember, but I have seen every single one of these. Different parts, different time of my life for each of these. Some of these I did own. Some of these I didn't. Thank goodness for that too. It goes to show you that some of them, they're not very memorable, but they are all award-winning for
they all did
specific
something.
reasons. Yeah. That goes to show you a bunch of bollocks Academy Awards and award shows are.
Next on the Oscars.
I'm not sure how we're going to end this video.
All right, so ending, we should just say, well, that's a wrap. Have a good day.